Um, did the Hawk Time walkthroughs Monday. For the most part, it was good, and the ones I walked through, I sent you Teeks thing. I think I got everybody that I walked through that I felt was at least trying to give an effort. The ones that wasn't giving an effort, I was gonna send one, and I said, no, this is the first week, so I'm trying to stay positive. You know, we have to do our Hawk Time. And I know you as advisory team members, I know you tell your team members, and I know you emphasize things, and I know sometimes it's almost to a level of frustration when you keep telling members something like that. So I thought about it, and you know, I'm in that launch class, they talk about reflection, and I always reflect on things, and when I walk through it, I always reflect on, you know, how can we motivate the unmotivated? And when I say the unmotivated, how can I help the advisory team get maybe the one or two or the three or four or whoever on the team, get them motivated, and really, you know, meet with the whole department and things like that to me is ineffective, because it's not fair for those of us that's doing what we're supposed to have time, you know, taken away. So what I'm going to do, and I wanted to start out with this before I forget to talk about it. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to start having after-school sessions with those individuals, okay? For an example, if I have somebody that's not doing, if I walk through and they're not doing Hawk Time, then we'll do an afternoon session on Hawk Time and get the data together and all of that kind of stuff. If I have somebody that's not watching faculty meetings in the 3-day period, then I'll meet with them after school and we'll watch faculty meetings. If I have someone that's whatever we discuss and we agree on and we talk about needs to be done, and if it's not done, then we'll do it after school. I'm here anyway. I'm here all the way to sometimes 7:30, so I'm happy to lead those sessions. And because it just doesn't, you know, it just doesn't really make sense, because everything that we do is for students. Every decision we make is for students. And when I have someone and I walk in there and they're not breaking them in groups based on data, that don't even make sense to me. So if they need more training, then I'll lead that training. It don't matter what they have after school, if they coach, if they whatever. If I have a session, then you're gonna be in my session, okay? Because this just doesn't make sense, because everything we do is for the benefit of kids. And if we can't formally assess, and we can't, you know, I still have departments that's struggling turning in tests, so Ms. Ingram can look at it. That just doesn't make sense to me. So if we're having problems turning in tests, then we'll do a test session after school, and then we'll get that test turned in to Ms. Ingram. Because I'm not gonna, you know, have those of us that's doing what we're supposed to do, because all of us have we have the same time. We have 30, you know, we talked about time. I added 30 minutes in the day, and we all have a planning period every day. It's what we do with that planning period that's counting. If I look and grades are not in there, you know, I'm tired of parents calling me saying why my child's grades are not in Infinite Campus. We've been talking about that for 10 years. And guess who came up with the timeline? Teachers did. And we still got some that's not meeting it. So I'm here, we'll just have those sessions, and we'll see if we can get this ship or get this boat sailing in the right direction. And because it's not fair for everybody that's doing what they're supposed to do, putting forth an effort, if we have somebody for will or skill, I don't know, sometimes it's the will, sometimes it's the skill. So those after school sessions will address both of those. So, you know, with our, let me make sure I got everything. have a Google form that Ms. Ingram created that I do when I go in and do walkthroughs. I put either not observed, I mean I didn't go in that teacher's class, or I put yes, or I put no. And the no is they just wasn't doing hall time. And I had several no's, but I decided instead of giving ones and twos or ones, I'm just gonna, let's give it a week so that we can get it done. And that's because we should have been doing hall time all along anyway. So I just said I'm just gonna take a step back. I want to talk to my advisory team and get y'all to really try to encourage your teachers that on Mondays be prepared for a long time. Now some I walked in, right off the top of my head, I can remember Kimmy and right off the top of my head, Kimmy and Miss Moore. When I walked in, they walked up to me, flipped open their thing, and had them names highlighted. And this is the group that's doing this. This is the group that do it. They had the names. And so when I walked in, I didn't have to say a word. Now some I walked in and I said, well, tell me what's going on, and y'all were able to tell me. But it's all based on the data. I walked in the room yesterday doing closing, and the teacher told me, oh, we're doing it on paper today. I said, okay. But I'm gonna ask them today to show me where you graded it, because the whole thing last year, we did it on paper. We didn't have time to grade it. This is terrible. It takes too much time. Now I got people that all of a sudden want to do it on paper. So if I walk in and you do it on paper, then I need to see that paper. And another thing I try not to do, I try not to do these data debriefings. I try to stay away from that. But whenever I walk in and I don't see it getting done, then I have to have proof that it's happening. I got a SIP meeting Friday. And when we go down to that school improvement plan, and we hit each one of those SMART goals, first thing the superintendent is gonna ask me, along with the committee, it ain't just superintendent, it's the IF director, it's the curriculum, Amy, it's a committee. And I'm sitting there, and we go down those SMART goals. Well, how are you checking this? How is this happening? How do you know it's happening? And I'm gonna tell you, I'm not gonna sit there with the superintendent and committee talking about, I ain't doing that. And I am so up for it. If y'all don't know by now, I am so up for it, I'll just do whatever it takes to get it done. And y'all should know that by now. I'll walk, I'll stay, it don't matter. Because it's for these students, and we gotta get these students achieving. We gotta get them where they need to be. And we all agree that only 10% of our student body is either AP or honors. So that's 90% of our students that's having difficulty. So, and I'm keeping my voice, because I'm not fussing at y'all. I'm just giving y'all the first preview of how I'm gonna help get this thing rolling like it should be. Because it's for these students. We gotta get these students achieving, And our demographics, y'all heard me say it, our demographics is a difficult demographic. We all know that, but we have students in here that have two-parent homes and we just have an array of students. But our demographics is a difficult demographics. And y'all heard me say this for 10 years. This demographic is not for everybody. It's not for everybody because it requires teaching, reteaching, tutoring in the mornings, tutoring in the afternoons, course recovery, summer school, this to get these kids through. And fortunately, we have a superintendent, we have the support from the board, and what I mean, putting the money in to make these students achieve. But we just have to do our part. And I'm the one that's responsible for it. So anytime, and I'll say it again, if we're doing something and y'all can think of a better and more efficient way to do it, please come talk to me. Because if I don't hear anything, I'm just gonna take it and say, okay, this is how we need to do it. But if y'all can think of a more efficient way to get it done, go to your departments, meet with your people, and ask them, well, how can we do this differently? How can we, because I listen, because we're going to formatively assess. We're going to do that. So I listen. Paper is too, we can't get it. So we spend, $18,000 on this. I even showed you the invoice. We spent $18,000 on this. And now all of a sudden we want to use paper, which is fine, but them papers better, they have to be graded and they have to be assessed, because guess what? You have to grade that and get ready for the next day's lesson. And when I talk about, we do data debriefings, you got to have that information. And we all know by now I'm on chat. Y'all know that. And these teachers know that. Because what we expect, we have to inspect. And that's the questions that I'm asked by the superintendent. How do you know that it's happening in your building? We have instructional facilitators. Thank God for our instructional facilitators. They're invaluable resources. We have to use them. Can't get, oh my God, here they come. We have to use them and use their expertise. They'll get resources for us, they'll help us, and they do it. And anybody that's receptive, they are valuable. I praise them all the time, and I praise them to Audra, who's the IM supervisor, because I appreciate them so much for helping us get to where we need to be. But the ones that's in our departments that just don't want to do and fight for kids, we'll be doing these afternoon sessions, and then I guess when contracts come out, they'll, fly and go somewhere else, I guess. Because we just have a different demographic of kids. And it's not I don't blame the students. And if this school, and it's not a disconnection. If this school don't achieve, I'm just as much his fault as anybody in this building. As a matter of fact, I'm held more accountable. Which I take that challenge happily. I happily accept that challenge. But it ain't the student. We can't blame the students. I can give you example after example after example of a group that maybe was struggling, and when we changed the adult, all of a sudden, it's a difference. And I can give you an example. I remember, and I remember chorus. Let's take chorus for it. We had a chorus program, and y'all may not even know this, don't even realize it, but in my class it said you always want to tell stories once upon a time and reflect. But we had a chorus program, y'all, that had a total of 30 students all day. The chorus teacher, if y'all don't remember, I had nothing for her to do. I had to put her on the front door for half a day. That program was turned into a part-time program. Next year, I changed the adult. You ever been to a chorus program? They hanging out the door. Same kids, same students. We just changed the adult. And that's what it is. It's the attitude of the adult that's in that room. There's no doubt about it. I can remember back when we had a teacher that resigned. She was in English. We had a teacher that resigned. I was assistant principal then. She resigned in the middle of the year. The class was awful. Can't do nothing with them. And this, so we called in a retired teacher, Miss English teacher. Wasn't Miss Rayford. It was Miss Young. We called in Miss Young. Right on time. Miss Young was remodeling her kitchen. I need this extra money. Called in, changed the adult, same class, same kids. All of a sudden, this class is just flourishing. Same kids, exact same class. If you don't believe me, I can tell you, Chris Mathis was in that class. You don't believe me, ask Chris Mathis. He was in that class. He's one of our coaches now. Change the adult. Okay? So I'm gonna help, I'm gonna assist these ones that are struggling, because that's my position. But we're not gonna do it during planning. We're gonna do it after school. And please tell them, I know that we got a lot of things going on after school. If we got things going on after school, if you're doing what you're supposed to, you won't be in my session. But if you're not, and you're a little bit slow and you're a little bit behind, then we'll have those sessions. Also, it's just, you know, what are we doing with our planning time? You know, are we being efficient and effective? I talked about this before. You know, we just have to use that time wisely, okay? So please talk to you, and again, any way that we can do things efficiently, I'm not a dictator. You know, this is a democracy. If you think of a way that it can be done better, please come talk to me, because I'm all for ideas of how we can do it better to help these students. Okay? But if I look at this is what I go by. This is what when I pull this up, this is what I go by. So if I see it not being done, then the next thing I have to do is show me. I have to do data debriefing where you show me that you formatively assess it. I walk in, some of y'all are doing it through paper, like I walked in teacher yesterday, stuck my head in there, oh, we doing it on paper. I just turned around and walked out. I said, okay. Or we're doing it on Google Forms. Okay. But when I asked to show me the data, we talking about I didn't have time to do it. Then you're gonna be part of my afternoon session, and we'll do it together. Because I'm here, and y'all know I'm here. So, yes,
I got a question. When you said they were doing on paper, was it regular paper or like the bubble sheets? Because
no, it wasn't bubble sheets. I don't mind bubble sheets.
Yeah,
I don't mind.
a lot of clickers a lot of clickers are missing.
And we talked to them yesterday. I don't mind bubble sheets. What I need, and just remember now, these are formative assessments. It doesn't have to be this big old, you know, it's just a check on learning. And I think in our minds, some of us think it has to be this big, elaborate, it's not, it's a check on learning. What I did that day, let me just check and make sure they understand. That's all it is. It's a check on learning. Let me check and make sure that they understand. Okay, they didn't get this, I'm gonna look at it, they didn't get this. Okay, I might can address this in the warm-up and keep it moving. So it's not a big elaborate, you know, thing where, I mean, you do your quizzes, you do your tests, you know, you do those things. This is a 3-4 question thing based on what you did that day. And you know that, okay, they struggled on, because those you use clickers and bubble sheets, it tells you right then. And so all you got to do is look at it and adjust. That's it. It's not a big elaborate plan. It's just a check on learning, formatively assessing these kids so we can close gaps. That's all it is. It's not as difficult as I think some of us make it. But if I don't want to do it and I don't agree with it, then it don't matter if I say one question. It's not going to happen, you know. So, but when we're talking about students, we can't. We have to formatively assess them. And you know, we got best practices. I heard a guy say yesterday, he said, you got best practices, but best practices, the only one's gonna do it is your best teachers. That's why they call best practices. So your best teachers are gonna do best practices. The ones that need afternoon sessions, they ain't paying attention to best practices. For whatever reason. But these parents, and some of us are parents, when we drop our students off at a school, we expect some education to happen. And it's our responsibility to make sure that that happens. I was talking to my son yesterday and how education is changing. And he's in his senior year, and how education is changing.